Hello, welcome to the second robot re-record, whatever it's called, episode. This week I'm going to attempt Let's Dance by David Bowie, produced by Nile Rodgers, or co-produced by Nile Rodgers, not sure. Anyway, it's long been one of my favourite David Bowie tracks. I'm very interested to try and get somewhere close to those drum sounds and things, just generally the sounds, see if I can do that kind of thing. It might not work out, but let's see, and hopefully it'll be fun. Let's check it out. I think the first thing I'm going to do is download the chords, figure out a tempo, and I'm going to put a guide down, and we'll take it from there. Try it out. Okay, let's dance. My delay pedal of choice for today is this TC Electronic Nova repeater, which I've had for years, and I don't use it very often, but it's got quite a few different settings on it, and there's a tap tempo, and I don't know, it just felt like quite a good choice for this. But I might actually just re-record this guitar later, and I don't know, we'll see. But for now, I'm using this little guy. Got a capo on the first fret. I'm terrible with chords, but the verse is, it's this kind of... And the second chord. And the third chord. And then the fourth chord. It's just a D minor shape. And when it has the delay on it, it sounds like this. I think that's cool. I have to piece it together, but I think I have it. Let me just pop this together now. Okay, so now I'm going to try and do some drums. First thing I'm going to do is try and get the snare sound to be similar to the record. For the kick, I'm just going to use the close kick mic, and then for the snare, I'm going to use the close snare mic and the overheads, but I'm going to really compress the overheads and then gate them from the close mic and hopefully get a nice big gated reverb. I'm going to try and do some bass. It's quite simple, but yeah, it's got a very cool feel, and I don't know, I'll do my best. So now some wood block. I have these two wood blocks here. One high one, one low one, with a quarter note delay on them. Let's try it. I'm just going to do random stuff. I'm not trying to copy the record exactly. Okay, so I've got this. Oberheim, Arturia, going into a decapitator, going into an Echo Boy. Okay, so I have double tracked that guitar, with the second one being a bit more of a kind of woozy one, because I've added this kind of this kind of wow thing, which makes it wobble, because there's a bit of a kind of chorusy thing on the record. I still think it needs one more kind of horn thing on that riff. I'm going to try and find another horn sample or synth or something. Okay, so I found this Fairlight sound. Which is good. It's good just for the stabs. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna work a bit on the kind of intro, sort of post-chorus bit. I'm going to add another guitar, or replace that guitar, not sure yet, but there is a kind of D7 or D sharp 7 chord in there. And there are horns. I'm going to just mess around with some horns and see if I can maybe use those same samples or the same synths I had before. See if I can use the same synths I had before. Yeah, and then I'll do some vocals, some BVs, and then I'll do the lead vocal, and I'll do some guitar, and then maybe we're kind of getting close.
figured out how to get a baritone sax kind of vibe with a Pitch shifter on my voice. God, I wish I had this voice all the time. Imagine it. Imagine the voiceover work I could get if my voice was like this all the fucking time.
That's it. That was it. That was really, really fun. The most it made me realise, honestly, is just how incredible the players are, if they're still alive. Some of them are, I know they are. But yeah, just really amazing feel. I wasn't sure to begin with if they'd used a click track at all, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. But at times it's just so solid that they may as well be using a click track. But the feel and just everything, it's just so effortless, and it's it's what you get with those masters, you know, those absolute master players and arrangers and musicians. They make it sound so easy, and you don't even think about it. It just slips in there beautifully. Yeah. Anyway, so hats off to those guys. Amazing. I definitely didn't come anywhere close at all with any of the feel at all. To me, my one sounds very robotic because I did it to a click, and because I just can't play like that. I never will be able to play like that. Well, I don't know, whatever. I won't. I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, keep the suggestions coming in, please. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'm going to keep doing these because they're so much fun. And yeah, I'm going to put the finished mix up on Patreon. So if you want to hear the finished thing in all of its glory, then yeah, subscribe to my Patreon. $3 a month. And yeah, thanks to everyone who supports me, and yeah, keep the ideas coming in. This was really fun. Cool. See you soon. Well, I thought I'd add on a little bonus bit at the end because I think some people want to see how I mixed this. So here's a little mix rundown. So I did all the backing vocals, like stacks, which you've seen already. I've got a bit of a micro shift on there just to give them a kind of spaciness. Just a little bit of EQ, bit of compression here. Boring really, whatever. Some delay. The delay that I've got, there's I think this is a vocal delay. That's the drum delay. The 3 reverbs I have this Lexicon impulse response, I have an echo chamber, and I have this tight non-linear AMS reverb. I also have like lots of individual delays on stuff, like the guitars and the horn stabs. They all have their own delays. The vocal has its own delay as well. I just wanted to be able to have maximum control with the timing and to make some things a little more laid back than others. I think it sounds pretty cool. Anyway, so the vocal has some EQ, just basically shaving some of the bottom end off, and a bit of top boost and a little bit of presence here. It ended up going through here as well. I was distorting it, but sometimes with the decapitator I just like it going through these different circuit simulations. Then it's got another little bit of compression here, probably not necessary. I think that was just left over from something else. A little bit of chorus, tiny bit, and then its own like full-on delay, which took me a while to get anywhere near what they used. It sort of does a bit. It's also got a little bit of slapback, or quite a bit of slapback, and some of the reverb, which is the Lexicon. Then we get to the horns, which I've auto-tuned the horns because it's really hard for me to do that. And I've actually pitch shifted the lower ones down an octave, so they really get a kind of baritone sax thing, which is what I think we have on this record. And personally, I think it actually sounds pretty good. Like certain bits, like the chorus, I think sounds like pretty decent. I'm going to just play you a little bit of that. You get that kind of really nice low end thing happening, then I think it does sort of trick the ear enough when it's in the mix. I'll run with you. Yeah, why not? It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Okay, back to the mix. So that was the horns, which the auto-tuned pitch shift. Then they have a bit of EQ, bottom end boost there to get that low end of the baritone thing happening. Bit of distortion just to make them sound a bit more raspy. And then some presence again, just a top end thing, blah, blah, blah. Lots of delay. Some reverb, that Lexicon again. Okay, then we get to the guitars. The riff has 8th note ping pong, nice and clean, a bit of a low cut on the repeats, but importantly with this riff, the input is actually loud, because it's one of those kind of delays where it's you play the thing and then you want the delay to start louder than what you've just played, because it needs to kind of go dig, so it needs this kind of this accent on the repeat, which is what makes it groove. And so that took a while to figure out how to do that. It's slightly laid back as well. Anyway, it's just a fine-tuning thing. They also have some reverb sends, 2 different reverb sends, the Lexicon and a bit of that AMS, just to give them that kind of spacey, space-agey kind of futuristic type sheen. Then the lead guitar at the end, I have a bit of a high-end boost and a drive thing. Decapitator, again, boosting a bit of the high end. I've given it its own AMS reverb, a room thing, just to give it a really nice room. I love like these kind of roomy lead guitar sounds. And then I've just drilled it a bit with this compressor, just to kind of really toughen it up. 12:1 ratio, bomb. Lots of reverb, lots more delay, another reverb. I mean, this is sometimes how I work. I just plaster stuff in different reverbs until it starts to kind of just sound otherworldly and interesting. The Oberheim horns, same story, bit of Decapitator, its own delay again. Reverb 2, which is the echo chamber, the same with the Fairlight. Horns, same deal. I've got the Farfisa organ in the chorus, which has a chorus on it. Wow control. Okay, then the drums, right, well, so the drums all have gates on them, just to give them that super clean 80s thing. The kick drum, I really had to EQ a lot to get the click out of it, because it's super clicky on the recording, which gives it so much punch. I've added a bit of R bass, which I know they wouldn't have had back then, but it's like a sort of sub harmonic generator thing, just to give it a bit more weight. And then a nice fat compressor, just to really give it loads of punch, kind of slow attack, fast release, super punchy. The snares, again, I've been through this before, but it's triggering the gate on the overheads. So when the snare hits, the overheads open. The overheads have this double lock compressor, which is smashing them a bit. There's the gate that's being triggered by the snare mic. They also have some distortion from the Decapitator. All of those snares and the hi-hats and the crashes all go to this bus, where there is more EQ. There's a bit of a scoop in the mid-range, just to give it some space and not make it too thick, but more bottom end presence and more top end shine. Another compressor just to glue it together even more. And then I put on another EQ for some reason, just to give it another little boost at the top end. I mean, you can see it's all a bit random sometimes. And a bit of the AMS reverb, some slapback delay, some of the Lexicon reverb a little bit, and then its own drum delay, which is for the chorus, where the delay it actually comes into like some sort of like audible delay, rhythmic delay thing in the chorus. The wood block again has its own delay, that's in there. That's just a bit of EQ, bit of Decapitator just to give it some vibes. Blah blah blah. Tambourine and bongos, I didn't bother with anything on those, just a bit of reverb. The bass and the Moog. The Moog, I think actually, yeah, I boosted the formant, I pitch shifted the formant just to give it a bit more bite, compressed it, a bit more top end. This was actually really tough, getting the bass anywhere near right, and I know it's completely not right, but it does do something. Some bottom end as well. Yeah, I don't know. The electric bass has a radiator on it, just to kind of take a bit of the top end off, but boost some of the saturation. Another compressor, just to kind of level it off a bit. And then, what is this doing? Not much. A bit of presence. Don't know, that's probably not necessary. Importantly, reverb on the bass, which I think people often forget about that, but it's really important sometimes, often, to put reverb on bass, just so it sits in there. Like, it's all very well having this nice big bottom end, but if it doesn't sound connected to everything else, then it's just not going to work. And a little tiny bit of reverb on the bass can just glue it to the drums. It can just glue it to everything, so that it all sounds like one big, fat, juicy plum of a drum bass combo. Whatever the fuck, what am I talking about? Not using any Casio. This is all old stuff, so I don't even need this. Do I?